So taking a look at the Magic X, or the X game, ultimately we're getting ready to do our factoring trinomials, identifying magic numbers. And we'll talk about what those magic numbers are in our lesson on that factoring. But ultimately, we need to figure out and rewrite trinomials once we have an X. So here we're given the X and we're just going to play the game. So the idea is you need two numbers that multiply to be this top number and add to be this bottom number. Okay, there's a few situations. If there's a positive number on top, there's only two possibilities. Either the side numbers are both positive or they're both negative. Oops, that was supposed to be negative. So if the top number is negative, then the side numbers have to be opposites. One's positive, one's negative, or this one's negative and that one's positive, doesn't matter. Okay, the bottom number doesn't matter. It matters. It doesn't matter about until after you've already decided what these numbers need to be to work. And that's all dependent on the top number. Okay, so ours is positive. So the second thought is if the bottom number is positive, then we have to have positive numbers here on the sides. If the bottom number was negative, then we would be negatives on the sides. Okay, so we just have to figure out what multiplies to be 3 and adds to be 4. Well, 3 doesn't have any factors except itself and 1 because it's prime. So 3 and 1 are the only option. And so 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. This X has been solved. Let's try another one. So in this example, we have a negative value up top, which means these two numbers need to be opposites. One needs to be positive, one needs to be negative, and vice versa. It doesn't have to be negative, then positive, what have you. The 28, what we have to do is figure out what are its factors, and then along the lines of its factors is some of them have to add or subtract, have a difference in this case because the signs are opposite, have a difference that equals 27. So the difference, I'll put a subtraction symbol, of 27, positive 27. So multiplies be 28 and a difference to 27. Well, I'm not feeling like doing all the factors of 24 because there's quite a few because I see the difference right away is 28 and 1. 28 minus 1 gets me 27 because they're one space away there. So all I have to do after I'd figured out the difference will get me 27 is decide which way it needs to be. Well, I need this to be a positive 27, so the larger value needs to be positive, the smaller one is negative, so that means this is going to be a positive 28 and a negative 1 in my Magic X to solve this X. So we'll have one on the next one that has a few more factors we'll try and think through. Now we've got a negative 16. Whenever it's a negative on top, these numbers on the side have to be opposites, and this time I need the larger number, that's this guy, to be a negative because I've got to have a negative 6 result. So I've got to work through my factors of 16, and I need the difference. So it needs to be a difference that gives me a negative 6. Okay, so 16 has a few factors, and I'll just go ahead and list them out. So we've got 16 and 1, we've got 8 and 2, we've got 4 and 4, and we need to figure out which one of these has a difference of negative 6. So 16 minus 1, no. 8 minus 2, yeah. 4 and 4, no. And it's possible that you have a couple factors that actually work out to have the right difference, and then you just have to put them in the right order. In this case, it's just 8 minus 2 is 6. Now I have to do it the right way, where the 8 is the larger value, so that when I do 8 plus 2, I'll get a negative 6. So it needs to be negative 8, positive 2. And I put my signs up here the other way around. So positive there, negative there, whatever. So negative 8, positive 2 is the result to solve this X. And on this problem, we have an example where the top is positive. And remember, if the top's positive, it either has to be plus plus or minus minus. Well, plus plus isn't going to work because then I would add to be a positive value. I need a negative result. So both of these are going to be negative magic numbers. So I just have to figure out what multiplies to be 50. that adds to be negative 15. So it needs to be adding to negative 15. Well, 50's got a good number of factors, but not many of them add to be 15. 10 and 5 multiplies to be 50 and also adds to be 15. So I want those to be my magic numbers, but they need to be both negative to make the negative 15. So I'm going to pick negative 10 and negative 15. Or sorry, negative 5, I meant to say, to give me the negative 15. That solves my x. And now we just need to apply this to trinomials and start learning that the top number is actually coming from my a times my c, and the bottom number is coming from my b value in a trinomial. So that is for another lesson.